You've done enough. Say it slowly and let it sink deep into your spirit. You've done enough. For so long, you've been running at full speed, pouring out your energy, your time, your heart into situations that seemed never ending. You've been the one everyone counted on, the one who stayed up late to make sure everything was right, the one who bore the weight of responsibilities that sometimes weren't even yours to carry. You've been giving your all, sacrificing, striving, and hoping that somehow your effort alone would make the difference. And there's a part of you that is tired, exhausted, drained, even discouraged, because no matter how much you give, it never seems like it's enough. But here's the truth. The moment has come to recognize that you've done more than enough. It's time to stop questioning whether you are doing enough or whether your sacrifices are being noticed. Stop measuring your value by the sheer amount of work you can produce or the sleepless nights you endure. You've carried burdens that were far heavier than anyone should bear alone, and yet you've persisted. That persistence, that unwavering commitment is not unnoticed. It has shaped you, strengthened you, and prepared you for what is coming next. But your role was never meant to be one of endless effort without rest, never meant to be one of constant strain without relief. There comes a moment when the very thing you've been striving for can no longer be achieved through effort alone. You've given your best, and that is enough. You've fought battles that no one else could fight for you. You've prayed prayers that seemed to echo into the void, hoping for an answer, hoping for change. And though you may feel like nothing has shifted, that your work is incomplete, the truth is that your perseverance has laid the foundation for transformation. You've planted seeds, watered them, tended them through storms, and now it is time for those seeds to grow in ways beyond your control. You've done enough to prove your faith, enough to prove your strength, enough to show that you are ready for a higher power to step in and bring forth what you could not accomplish on your own. It is in this acknowledgement that freedom is found. You don't have to carry everything anymore. You don't have to force outcomes or wrestle with circumstances that are too vast for human hands to manage. The act of doing enough is also an act of surrender, and understanding that your contribution, your effort, your dedication is complete in the sense that it has fulfilled its purpose. It has done what it was meant to do. And now the moment of rest, the moment of divine intervention, the moment where something greater than your effort takes over is here. You've done enough, and that declaration is not a call to quit. It is a call to release. It is a recognition that what you have done has value, that your efforts matter, and that the struggle you've endured has positioned you for the shift that is about to happen. You've done enough, and finally, it is time to let go of the weight, let go of the striving, and let go of the illusion that you have to do it all alone. The work you've done has been mighty, your hands have been faithful, and your heart has been committed. And in that very truth lies the power to stop striving and start receiving what has already been prepared for you. Surrendering control is one of the hardest things for a human heart to do. We are wired to plan, to strategize, to try to fix what seems broken, and to hold tightly to the reins of our own lives. We think that if we just work harder, push longer, and figure everything out, we can secure our future, protect our loved ones, and conquer every obstacle in our path. But there comes a moment when you have to pause, breathe, and realize that no amount of planning, no level of effort, no sleepless night, or relentless worry can replace the power of letting go and trusting in something greater than yourself. Surrendering control is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is acknowledging that you were never meant to carry every burden on your own, and that there is a force, a power, a presence ready to guide, protect, and orchestrate what you cannot. When we try to control everything, we exhaust ourselves. We exhaust our minds, our bodies, our spirits. We drive ourselves into anxiety, frustration, and despair because life, in all its complexity, cannot always be shaped by our hands alone. But when we surrender, when we release the illusion that we are the ultimate architect of our destiny, something miraculous happens. The weight that has been pressing down on your shoulders begins to lift. The constant chatter of worry in your mind begins to quiet. And in that space of surrender, clarity begins to emerge. You start to see that what you thought was a mess, what you thought was out of reach, has already been taken care of by forces beyond your understanding. Surrendering control requires faith. It requires the courage to stop trying to force outcomes and the humility to admit that you don't have all the answers. It is saying, I have done my part. I have tried. I have worked. Now, I trust you to do yours. This is not a passive act. It is active, intentional, and transformative. When you surrender, you are not giving up. You are stepping into alignment with a power that sees the bigger picture, a power that knows the way, a power that can move mountains and calm storms that are far beyond human capacity. Think about the relief that comes when you let go. The relentless drive to control everything slowly fades, replaced by peace. You stop exhausting yourself over things you cannot change. You stop trying to manipulate situations that are beyond your hands. And in that peace, in that release, opportunities begin to appear. Solutions that seemed impossible before now come into view. Doors that were closed begin to open. Hearts that were hardened begin to soften. And blessings long delayed start to flow. Surrendering control is also an act of trust. It is saying, I believe in a plan bigger than my own. I believe in a power that can do what I cannot. I believe that my life is not defined solely by my effort, but by the hands that guide me. When you finally surrender, you position yourself to receive. You step out of the relentless cycle of striving and step into the rhythm of divine orchestration. And in that surrender, you discover freedom, joy, and the fulfillment that comes from letting go and letting something far greater than yourself take the lead. Divine timing is a concept that challenges human patience. We live in a world that demands speed, instant results, and immediate gratification. We want answers now, solutions today, and breakthroughs yesterday. But life, in its infinite complexity, does not always move according to our schedule. There are moments when it feels like nothing is happening, as if our prayers, our efforts, and our sacrifices are floating into silence. It is in those moments, however, that divine orchestration is quietly at work behind the scenes. What you cannot see, what you cannot control, is being aligned perfectly according to a higher plan. Every setback, every delay, every closed door is part of a bigger picture that you were never meant to fully understand on your own. When you begin to trust in divine timing, you start to realize that delays are not denials. Every pause in your journey is intentional, designed to prepare you for what is coming. The obstacles that appear in your path are not accidents, they are opportunities for growth, refinement, and revelation. Just as a master architect must wait for the foundation to settle before adding the walls, your life requires patience for the unseen structures to be established. Divine timing ensures that when the doors open, they open fully and not a moment too soon or too late. It ensures that when blessings arrive, they are complete and perfect, ready for you to step into without hesitation or compromise. Divine orchestration is also about alignment. There are connections you have yet to meet, opportunities you have yet to encounter, and wisdom you have yet to gain. All of these elements are being arranged in a way that your finite mind cannot arrange for itself. You may try to rush things, push events forward, or manipulate situations to your advantage, but true success, true breakthrough, comes when you allow the natural flow of divine design to unfold. It is in the alignment of timing, resources, people, and circumstances that miracles occur, that paths straighten, and that your destiny begins to manifest in ways far beyond your imagination. Consider this: everything you have done, every effort you have invested has contributed to a foundation that is now being built upon by a power far greater than your own. What you have tried to orchestrate through struggle and strain, God has been arranging with perfection. And when that moment comes, when timing and orchestration converge, you will look back and see that every delay, every disappointment, and every detour was intentional. Every challenge was preparation. Every tear was a signal that the best was still ahead. Trusting divine timing requires patience, faith, and a surrender of your own schedule. It requires believing that the plan you cannot see is more perfect than the one you can imagine. It is a call to wait, to trust, and to keep moving in alignment with what you know is right, even if the results are not yet visible. Because in divine timing, nothing is wasted. Every prayer, every effort, and every tear has been accounted for, and the outcome is being orchestrated in a way that will bring fulfillment, purpose, and glory beyond what you ever thought possible. Freedom in trust is a concept that many of us long for, but often struggle to embrace. We carry burdens that weigh heavily on our hearts and minds, worries about the future, fears about failure, doubts about our worth, and anxieties about the unknown. We try to control outcomes, micromanage situations, and hold tightly to every detail, believing that if we just do enough, plan enough, and work hard enough, we can secure our lives and protect our loved ones. But the truth is, all that striving, all that stress, all that constant effort is a chain that keeps us from experiencing true freedom. True freedom comes when we place our trust in a higher power and allow ourselves to be carried instead of trying to carry everything on our own. Trust is not passive. It is not sitting idly and hoping things will work out. Trust is an active choice, a conscious decision to release control and place your life in the hands of something far greater than yourself. It is acknowledging that your understanding is limited, your strength is finite, and your perspective is narrow. When you trust, you are saying, I have done my part, and now I believe in the one who can do infinitely more than I ever could. That is where freedom begins. The moment you stop fighting to control every outcome, the moment you stop exhausting yourself trying to force situations, you step into a space of peace, relief, and liberation that you have never known before. Freedom in trust allows you to experience life without the constant pressure of fear and doubt. It lifts the weight of anxiety from your shoulders, quiets the restless thoughts in your mind, and restores your spirit. It creates a space where miracles can happen, where solutions can appear, and where blessings can flow unhindered. You begin to understand that when you trust, you are not abandoning responsibility. You are aligning yourself with the source of all power, wisdom, and provision. You are partnering with a force that knows your needs before you even speak them, that sees the path ahead with clarity that your eyes cannot yet perceive, and that can orchestrate outcomes beyond human capability. This freedom in trust is not only liberating, it is transformative. When you surrender your fears, your anxieties, and your need to control, you open the door for growth, healing, and abundance. The stress that once consumed you is replaced with serenity. The worry that kept you awake at night is replaced with confidence and hope. The constant struggle to manage life alone is replaced with peace and assurance that you are not alone. Trust becomes the foundation of a life lived fully, courageously, and faithfully. To experience this freedom, you must first let go. You must release the belief that everything depends on you. You must stop measuring your worth by your ability to handle every challenge and start embracing the truth that you are supported, guided, and protected. Freedom in trust comes when you say, I am no longer carrying this alone. I am no longer striving to fix what only a higher power can fix. I am ready to receive, ready to believe, ready to rest. And when you do, everything changes, burdens lighten, paths open, hearts heal, opportunities appear, and in that space of surrender and trust, life begins to flow in ways you never thought possible. Freedom in trust is the doorway to peace, the gateway to miracles, and the key to walking confidently into a future that has already been prepared for you. Transformation through faith is one of the most powerful experiences a person can have. Life is full of trials, challenges, and pain that can sometimes feel unbearable. We face obstacles that seem insurmountable, heartbreaks that seem permanent, and disappointments that shake the very foundation of our hope. And yet, it is in the midst of these struggles that faith has the power to transform everything. Faith does not simply make life easier or remove the challenges. It changes the way we see them, the way we respond to them, and ultimately the way they shape us. Transformation through faith allows us to take the very things that were meant to destroy us and turn them into stepping stones, testimonies, and sources of strength. When you choose to live by faith, you begin to see beyond what your eyes can perceive. You see the potential for growth where others see only failure. You see opportunity in what appears to be defeat. You see lessons in pain and wisdom in trials. Faith gives you the courage to persevere even when the world tells you to give up. It gives you the strength to stand tall when circumstances try to bend you, and the hope to keep moving forward when the path seems dark and uncertain. Transformation through faith is not about avoiding difficulties. It is about allowing those difficulties to refine and elevate you. Faith also has the power to transform your perspective. What once felt like loss can become gain. What once felt like an ending can become a new beginning. Every disappointment, every setback, every tear has the potential to become a tool of transformation. When you hold on to faith, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as a participant in a larger plan. You begin to understand that every challenge is preparing you for something greater, shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. Transformation through faith allows you to see that even the darkest moments have purpose, even the hardest lessons carry meaning, and even the deepest pain can produce beauty. Faith also empowers action. It moves you from passivity to boldness when you believe that something greater is working on your behalf. You are no longer limited by fear, doubt, or hesitation. You take steps you never thought possible, speak words you never thought you could say, and make decisions you once believed were beyond your reach. Transformation through faith turns ordinary lives into extraordinary testimonies. It gives ordinary people the courage to face impossible odds and emerge victorious. Perhaps most importantly, transformation through faith brings healing. It restores broken hearts, renews weary minds, and rebuilds shattered spirits. It allows the past to become a source of strength rather than a weight to carry. It enables you to step into your future with confidence, knowing that the power that brought you this far is capable of guiding you through everything that lies ahead. Faith transforms not just your circumstances, but your inner world, reshaping who you are, how you think, and how you live. Transformation through faith is not an event. It is a process. It is a journey of trust, patience, and belief that even when life seems impossible, something greater is at work. It is the light that shines in the darkness, the hope that lifts the weary, and the power that turns trials into triumphs. When you embrace faith fully, you allow yourself to be transformed in every way possible, becoming the person you were always meant to be. Empowerment through surrender is a paradox that many people struggle to understand. We are taught from a young age that power comes from control, from exerting influence, from having the ability to manage every detail of our lives. We think that strength is measured by how much we can carry, how hard we can push, and how long we can endure without rest. But true empowerment is not found in control or endless effort. True empowerment is found in surrender, the deliberate act of letting go, of stepping back, and of allowing a higher power to guide your life. It is in surrender that you discover the greatest strength you have ever known, a strength that does not rely on your own limited abilities, but on the limitless power that surrounds you. Surrender does not mean weakness or giving up. It does not mean abandoning responsibility or walking away from your dreams. Surrender is the conscious choice to release the illusion that you are in charge of everything. It is the recognition that while you can do many things, there are forces at work in the universe, in life, and in your journey that you cannot control, and that trying to control them only drains your energy and diminishes your impact. When you surrender, you stop fighting against the current and start flowing with a force far greater than your own. You stop exhausting yourself trying to solve problems that were never yours to solve alone and begin to receive solutions that only divine intervention can provide. Empowerment through surrender also comes from clarity. When you release the need to manipulate outcomes, you start to see situations more clearly. You see the paths that are truly meant for you, the opportunities that align with your purpose, and the people who are meant to be part of your journey. Surrender allows you to act from a place of wisdom and a discernment rather than fear, desperation, or frustration. You begin to understand that your role is not to control every event, but to participate faithfully in the plan that has already been set into motion. In surrender, your choices are guided by purpose rather than panic, by vision rather than pressure. Surrender also brings peace, and peace is empowering. There is a freedom in knowing that you are no longer alone in your battles, no longer solely responsible for the outcomes, and no longer burdened by the weight of everything on your own shoulders. In that peace, your energy is restored, your mind is sharpened, and your spirit is strengthened. You begin to operate from a position of confidence, knowing that your life is being directed by a wisdom far beyond your comprehension. Finally, surrender empowers because it invites miracles. When you let go, you create space for extraordinary things to happen. Doors that were once closed begin to open. Connections that seemed impossible begin to align. Paths that were blocked become clear. Surrender transforms your reliance on your own limited power into reliance on infinite possibilities. It allows you to step into a life that is not only guided but elevated, a life that fulfills your purpose in ways you could never achieve on your own. Empowerment through surrender is a choice, a discipline, and a declaration. It is saying, I am done trying to control everything. I am ready to trust. I am ready to be guided. I am ready to be empowered in ways I cannot achieve alone. And in that choice, true power is revealed, not as something you grasp for, but as something you receive when you finally let go